So hopefully we've got no echo issues. Shoana, can you hear me okay?
I can hear you fine.
Brilliant. Okay, so, well, here we are. Welcome to Leaderslive show. It's a countdown timer. This kind of just helps the various feeds to sort themselves out and to settle down. And it's the 8th of March today, and we're inching closer, folks. We're inching closer to spring day by day. And today we're hanging out with Shoana Taylor, energy management expert. We're chatting about avoiding burnout today to save your bacon in the long run. And there's more to it than you think, folks. A lot more to it than you think. So, hi Shoana, say a quick wave. Just give us a quick wave. Okay, brilliant. Hi. And helping us to engage, we've got Birdie and Hugo, our fab moderator, chipping in, and she'll be keeping all the interaction flowing today. Yeah, keeping us busy. Yeah, hi Birdie, how you doing? Music by my Uncle Peter.
I'm doing well, thanks.
Brilliant. So this is the 42nd show, folks. 42nd live show. Fantastic that we're all part of this growing community that feels really exciting. And please let me know if our audio's coming through okay too. We had a few issues this morning, so that'd be really useful to hear from you guys to see whether we're all good. Lovely. So let me just move on to quick scene. So there's the lovely Shoana for us, folks. And oi people, it's Leaderslive showtime, folks. And it's just after 8:45 in the morning here in the UK. And we are live with Leaderslive. And we're spreading the love, folks, spreading the love, yabba dabba do. And we're streaming out on LinkedIn, we're streaming out on Facebook. We're streaming out on Facebook profiles and Facebook groups and Twitter and now Twitch as well and all of those things. Ta-da! If it all hangs together, it'll be great. And you can catch us live too. Not only can you catch us live, you can catch us on the replay. And if you can't catch us on the replay video-wise, fear not, my friends. We have you covered. All of our shows are on podcasts too from now on. So we're on Anchor FM, we're on Spotify, we're on Apple, we're on Google, we're on every platform. So you can just listen to us while you're jogging, while you're driving your car, on the train, plane, automobile, or catching up while cooking or ironing it. We're so excited about that. So there you go. So if you're new and just checking us out, if you're new, checking us out, or you're a regular, please say hello to us. Hello, Paul. Great to see you this morning. Hope our audio's coming through okay. So please say hello to us in the comments. And remember it's an interactive show, folks. So join in, get involved, ask questions, network with the community, and a little bit of friendly banter too goes a long, long way. So this morning, I'm hanging out now with Shoana Taylor, personal energy management expert, chatting about how business owners avoid burnout. Ooh, how you doing, Shoana?
I'm really good, thanks, Andrew. How are you?
I'm brilliant, thank you. Yeah, if you just speak up for us just a little bit, just in case you're not coming through. So we can't wait to find out how energy management can save you from burnout in the longer run. And there's more to it than you think, folks. So great to have you on the show. It's been a while, hasn't it? I mean, Shoana and I have known each other for a reasonable long time, I would say. About a decade now, probably more longer.
10 years, yeah. 10 years.
Brilliant. And just a quick one for our moderator, the lovely Birdine, and just Birdine the countdown briefly. So, chance to say a little bit more, Birdine. Say hello to us properly.
Good morning, everyone. Looking forward to everyone's engagement today. I think burnout is something that we've all dealt with, especially during the pandemic. Everyone having to move environments and moving from an office to home, needing to balance your life. So looking forward to everyone's input today.
Yeah, thanks, Birdine. Brilliant. Yeah, well said as well. And look, we'll keep coming back to you, Birdine, for our moderator. So Birdine will keep us on the straight and narrow as far as all the comments concerned and keeping us going. So I'll come back to you as well in a tick, Shoana, as well. Let me just set the scene for today. So as I've mentioned, we're Leaderslive. It's an interactive show, folks, so please join in, use the comments and questions. And Paul says our audio's coming through loud and proud. That's brilliant. So please engage with us. Please engage with each other. You know how it goes. So quick tease, folks. Quick tease. If you think you can simply outsmart burnout, then think again, pal. Burnout will play the longer game and could even prove you wrong. So, do we need to play a longer preventative game ourselves? Oh, well, that's the question we will be asking ourselves. And as leaders, why should we pay attention to this whole thing about burnout, folks? Well, it's because we now more clearly understand the longer term impacts of burnout and that burnout has on our own health, folks. As leaders, we also have a responsibility to balance people's well-being against how to push our folks to deliver for business-related results. So that's kind of balance point, isn't there, these days? So we've got to be very mindful of that. And Shoana has developed a unique antidote approach to prevent burnout that she terms energy management, and it covers 3 areas, folks: to identify your burning tipping point, we'll talk about that, adjusting your lifestyle habits and tendencies to make positive change, and use the powerful mind body tools to increase your energy and recharge. Well, I think that sounds really good to me. I think that might need let's have a look. Ooh. Brilliant. So we're going to explore exactly what exactly is personal energy management, and what's that got to do with preventing burnout, why paying attention to burnout helps us to be at our very best, folks, and how we use Shoana's unique personal energy management approach and how Shoana can help us. All of those things. So it's coming right up. So this and a whole lot more. So Shoana's also got a freebie giveaway as well. Stick around for the end of the show for that one. So put them all together, and what do you got? Bibbidi bobbidi boo. I love that one. So, a quick shout out for Leaderslive. If you're new to the show and you don't know me, I'm Andrew Jenkins. Smash those likes and thumbs up too, folks. We'd really appreciate that. That keeps us motivated as we're moving along. So knows we can know we're doing all right. And please subscribe to the YouTube channel, and Birding will add that into the comments and the link as well. So that would be really useful. Please support us, folks. It's really hard building a YouTube channel if you've ever tried it. So back to Shoana. Let's just bring up Shoana again. So there we go, the lovely Shoana. And just before we get you going, let's give you a round of applause. For those of you on podcast, we're just playing loads of confetti at the moment, and Shona's going to be clearing that up for ages afterwards. So there we go. So, spreading the love. How's that for a build-up, Shoana?
Oh, couldn't do better than that.
Couldn't do better.
Thank
Okay. So, Shoana, kick us off. You've got a question that you'd like to ask the audience to get us all going. Take it away for us, Shoana.
Yeah, so I'm interested to know is, are you a fast blaster or are you a slow burner? So
Okay.
having a good understanding of how you work and your approach to tasks and your approach to things in life will give you a good indicator, because we will, as we will discover a bit later, there is a personality type that goes with burnout.
Yeah.
And I'll explore that a bit more later. But let's see, what kind of person do you think you are, and what is your working style?
Okay, so are you a fast blast or slow burn, and what is your working style, folks? So we'll come on to that. Now, it takes a little bit of time for the feed comments to come through, so people are typing and stuff like that. So while that's going on, Shoana, talk us through, that question that you posed while we wait for the responses to catch up. Tell us a bit more about working style and what you mean by fast blast or slow burn. Take it away for us.
Okay, so we have to look at burnout really as two things. So on the one hand, we have what's happening culturally.
Right.
So something might be tied up within your job description that is anyway going to lend itself to you burning out in the long run.
Okay.
So things like the medical field, care workers, social workers, people who have to work long shift hours, work during the night. Their work job description is already lending itself towards burnout. For a small business owner, this, however. We have to manage our time and doing a multitude of tasks and taking on sort of more jobs than one person, which also often lends itself to us having to meet tight deadlines, having to sort of be far more productive than in a normal 9 to 5 type of job.
Yeah.
So there's a lot that goes into the psychology behind how we do our work. The reason this topic is so sort of near and dear to me is because I've experienced burnout at a very young age. I was only 25, and it took me years to get to this place to understand what energy management is and how I can manage, you know, my life and my working life in a much better way.
Okay, just talk a little bit louder for us, Shoana, so we can get near the microphone. So yeah,
Okay.
please. Yeah, thank you.
Is that better?
Yeah, lovely, much better. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we need to look at the cultural thing again.
The cultural thing, right?
So at the moment, coming out of the pandemic, according to Indeed, about 52% of people have said they burn out.
Wow. Yeah.
They're already burnt out. So that's quite a high number.
And what caused that? Is that just overworking through Zoom and things like that? Shoana, working from home, or?
I'm a bit confused, to be honest, because I think prior to the lockdown, people who were commuting would be much more under pressure because the commute in itself is an exhausting process.
Exactly. Yeah.
Which will add, you know, up to 4 hours per person's day. So
yeah, indeed.
they might be hitting a 14-hour day instead of an 8-hour day.
Mm-hmm.
So it's an interesting figure, but they've done the study. So as I expressed before, there's certain professions that lend themselves to burnout.
Okay, like certain professions.
Yeah. So the medical,
Okay.
social work, care work, as I said.
Yeah.
The hotel industry apparently as well.
Okay,
Law,
hotel, long hours. Yeah.
Law, finance.
Law. Yeah. Okay. Okay, so there's certain professions that have a proclivity to more burnout than others, like the health industry and nursing and doctoring and medical services. Okay. Just give you a quick break for now. Let's just jump into the comments. Berdin, what's going on in the comments?
First of all, good morning, Joe. Lovely to see you here this morning after last week that you missed the show. But
yeah, great to see you, Joe.
Joe said, think I'm a fast blast. If I have something in my head, I have to do it straight away.
Yeah, fast blast. Okay.
Yes. And Paul said it depends on the obstacle that he faces.
Okay.
So whichever challenge it appears to him. And then Jack, good morning, Jack.
Good morning, Jack.
Jack said, my work style is slow burn. I work hard, but I'm aware of burnout, which I do not want for the sake of me and my family.
Yeah, so it sounds like you're conscious of managing it, Jack, by the sounds of it. What do you think to that, Shoana, those comments? What do they say to you?
Yeah, someone who's built some wisdom over the years, you know, it's a very good thing.
Yeah.
And interesting to know, because each style basically reflects how we take on a task or how we approach our life and our work life. So at this point, I'm going to just maybe touch on the personality type.
Yeah,
lend themselves to burnout.
Yeah, because I was going to ask you, you know, what has this got to do, you know, whether you're fast or a slow burner? What's that got to do with burnout? Is that where you're heading, Shoana?
Yeah, I'm going to be heading to that because some of the personality types of burnout are people who don't really understand their limitations physically. So they bite off more than they can chew.
Okay.
They tend to be achievement orientated.
Oh, yes.
Um,
Do you recognise that,
struggle
folks?
to delegate.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they struggle to delegate. They might be perfectionists. In some cases, if they're in a job role, they might be wanting to please. So a superior. So they will keep saying yes when they should be saying no, that I can't take anyone anymore, actually.
Okay, so people pleasers as well. So that's
Yeah.
high achievers, people that find it hard to delegate, perfectionists, and people pleaser. Right? Is that right so far?
Yeah.
Okay.
Struggling with boundaries. Physical limitations, as I said, not having really any gauge on that. This is typical of younger people.
Okay.
And so in a working environment, they can often get abused.
Okay. Is that because they're less aware than those that with more experience? Is that what you're saying, Shoana?
Yeah.
Okay.
So they're less aware and they generally have more vitality. Anyway.
Right. Right. And because they've got more vitality, weirdly, they'll burn out quicker. Is that what you're suggesting? Or is that just a generalisation?
Can do. Can do, because there's less awareness there. So, but I'm going to break down the whole burnout process into levels.
Okay.
So that can help everyone gauge where they're at as well.
Yeah, please do.
We need to go on to slide 2.
Okay,
we didn't do slide 1 yet, actually.
Well, let's quickly do slide 1 for you. So talk us through this.
So this is interesting because it really reflects what is actually a first world problem, because you won't really find burnout in an undeveloped nation.
That's interesting. Right, okay. Okay.
So our approach to life has become faster and more urgent.
Okay.
And we live in a state of emergency all the time. Everything needs to be now, and it needs to be, immediate. So there's a lot of sacrifice involved. So this quote of the Dalai Lama, I think, is very apt.
Yeah, just read that out for us so the people on the podcast can hear it.
So the Dalai Lama, when he asked what surprised him most about humanity, answered, man, because he sacrifices health in order to make money, then he sacrifices money to recuperate his health. And then he is so anxious about the future that he does not enjoy the present. The result being he doesn't live in the present or the future. He lives as if he's never going to die, and then dies having never really lived.
Oh my gosh, that's a deep one, isn't it? My gosh, I love that. Not enjoying the moment and too fixated on the future, but then not really planning for the future either, and then sort of having a life that hasn't really been lived. That's gosh. And I like that whole thing about we have to then spend money on our health to regain our health afterwards.
Well, this is it, really. This is kind of where we're at.
Yeah. Okay, so great quote.
Let's move to the next one.
Sure. Yeah. Okay. So talk us through this so people on the podcast know where you are with this.
Right. So burnout can happen on any of these 3 levels. So your physical output.
Okay.
Means you just literally physically take on more than you can manage.
Yeah.
And you push yourself past your health levels, really, and what's good for you. So this will then mean that, for example, you're sacrificing your sleep. That's the major one, really.
Sleep. Yeah.
So all those all-nighters and
those night owls. I think it's a couple of night owls on our. There's probably many night owls here actually on this call. I'm thinking. Okay, so that's the physical side. So where we sacrifice our physical self, and one of the outworkings of this is lack of sleep, right? And we're burning the candle from both ends. Okay.
Physical tasks. So some people who want to do everything are very physically oriented, so they also want to exercise at a high level.
Okay.
And just be, constantly living in this high level of adrenaline.
Oh, right. Okay. So is that a key word? That high level of adrenaline there?
Yeah. So.
And high levels of adrenaline. Correct me if I'm wrong. Is that's unhealthy over a long-term period? Is that what they say?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's very unhealthy because it leads to an imbalance of having high levels of cortisol, which then leads to depression and burnout as well.
And burnout. So cortisol being the kind of stress chemical, right? Is that right?
Yeah, it works alongside with adrenaline.
Okay. Oh, okay. The two go hand in hand, do they?
They do, yeah.
Ah, okay. Right. So when we produce lots of adrenaline, then cortisol comes along as well, right?
That's right.
Okay. Yeah. So for short, sharp spikes, absolutely fine. But for longer period, this is where you start to set up burnout. Is that right, Shoana?
Exactly. So you're looking at people who regularly do like 12-hour days, have disruptive sleep patterns, or they work in the night.
Yeah.
This type of thing, really.
Okay. Yeah. Night working, that could cause that issue as well, could it? When people work nights?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, that has a toll on our physicality. Okay, so talk us through the other bits there. You've got the mental side and the emotional side as well.
So the mental tax really is when you take on a workload that's too much, but it's not a physical thing. It's requiring a lot of high-level decisions, a lot of responsibility, a lot of pressure. So that will also impact on your physicality.
Okay, which then has a knock-on effect physically. Yeah, okay, because we are mind and body, right?
Because we're mind and body.
Yeah.
So I'm going to get to that as well.
Okay, super.
Integrated part. So
and then you've got
element, is the emotional frequency. So this has much more to do with our personal relationships. So how we relate to people at work or at home. Because when we are not in a harmonious relationships, this will increase our levels of stress and so impacts on our mental and physical.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense, doesn't it? If things aren't right at home, then things aren't going to be right at work, right? And likewise, vice versa. So it kind of makes sense, does it? So these three are in constant tension, I guess: the physical, the mental, and the emotional, and they're all in tension. It's a moving model, right?
It's a moving model. They all impact each other.
Yeah, I love that.
And it's also a place where you can identify where you're out of balance. So you can notice really what's going on in your life. You can identify which area is problematic. And then you can focus your attention to kind of mend that area.
Okay, so this is a pointer towards, well, is it more physical, is it more mental, or is it more emotional, and which one is the one that's predominantly creating an out of balance and out of tension model here?
Yeah. Exactly.
Okay, all right, thank you. So just give you a pause for a minute. Let's bring Berdine back in. What's going on in the chat, Berdine? Let's see if we can catch people up a bit.
Paul said, and Paul, this isn't going to work, but Paul said he'd love to work at home.
Well, Paul's a paramedic, so yeah, he's always out and about. So I imagine that must be okay, Paul. Thank you.
Not gonna work. Maria said one of the negatives of being mentally tough, if you are not self-aware, these are more likely to burn out compared to more mentally sensitive people.
Oh, yeah. Exactly. What say you, Shoana?
Yeah, exactly. This is a very typical trait because you're more task orientated. Than you are self-aware.
It's that achievement driver takes over, Shoana. Is that right?
That's it.
Yeah, okay.
Exactly.
Achievement driver.
another important thing I didn't add with the emotional section is that also covers two other things. So the first one being our emotional frequency. So our frequency is that the level of emotion, that is whether it's positive and resourceful,
Yeah.
whether it's negative and draining, basically. So we're looking at the positive emotions actually feed us energy, and the negative ones drain us of energy.
Okay, and give
So
us a few examples of those, Shoana.
yeah, so when we're feeling relaxed, at ease,
Okay.
happy,
Yeah.
these are the positive states. The negative states being anxious, depressed, stressed, angry, nervous. So these kind of negative states, they have a frequency and they impact on all of our body processes.
Yeah, that kind of emotional frequency, that the kind of vibe, you mean, the vibration type thing. Yeah.
That's it. It impacts on how our entire body functions,
Okay.
including
Ooh,
our organ functioning,
yeah.
our neurotransmitters,
Mm.
which is the chemicals of whether
The happy
you're
chemicals, or
happy.
yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Um, it has a huge impact, and also on our heart rate variability.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
So and our anxiousness will create more heavy breathing, quicker breathing, etc. Okay, and yet simple things like positive affirmation, for example, being affirmed in a relationship, having decent relationships at work and at home, tend to calm our nervous systems down an awful lot, Shoana.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. So just hooking back onto the comments again, what else is going on, Berdine? Anything else?
Joe just said the quote is so true. And then she said she's totally a night owl.
Yeah, I was thinking about you, Joe, when we were saying that about night owls. Yeah, I thought you might be one of those. And Elaine Godley too, if she's on as well. She always says that she's a bit of a night owl, and I'm suspecting Paul might be as well, but I don't know. So yeah. Okay, thanks. Okay, so back to you again, Shoana. So you talked about how. Let's talk a little bit about how our habits and lifestyles play a role in that three-pronged model that you talked through about our physical, emotional and mental well-being.
Yeah. So what happens with our habits is we build them up over time.
Yeah.
And I think with working life, depending obviously on the expectations of your job description, which will obviously dictate your working life. But if as a self-employed person, where you can dictate how you want to work, work out your working day.
Yeah.
These sort of things are often set up during our sort of university days, where we develop habits of cramming at the last minute,
Okay.
burning the candle at both ends, maybe taking on too much, not being able to, balance our workload and, our time in general. So we can set up habits which then become sort of automated and we don't really question.
Okay. So they become automated habits that we don't even think about. They just become normal life, right? We don't question them at all.
Yeah.
Okay.
So for example, in a job that's pressurized and we have a schedule to stick to. So let's say you're a milkman and you have to get up at 5.
Yeah.
That's part of your normal routine. But what you do afterwards is what counts. And I basically look at it as something as input and output. What do you put in?
Yeah.
And what are you outputting? And what's the quality of what you put in will also result in the quality of your output.
Okay. Is this where your model comes in handy here, Shoana?
Yeah.
Okay. So talk us through that so we understand what the inputs and outputs are that you're talking about here, Shoana.
So the quality of your input has to do with three things again.
Okay.
So physically, you want to look at what type of fuel you're putting in your body.
Okay.
So what's your primary fuel? Let's get some answers here.
Okay, yeah, that'll be useful. Yeah, to get some. So, folks, what's your primary? What did you say, Shoana? Your primary fuel is, yeah. So, in what? Give us a bit more of an example so people can understand.
So we have to fuel our bodies.
Okay, so food, you mean? What's nutrition that we have?
It's not our primary fuel.
Okay.
The most important one.
Right. So, give us a bit more of an example so we can get this. Yeah.
We never stop doing it.
Okay, so we never stop doing it. Right. Okay, there's a little bit of innuendo here, folks. So,
see if you can guess.
Okay, so it's a guessing game. What's your primary fuel, folks? What's your primary fuel? I was thinking nutrition, but it's not nutrition, is what you're saying, yeah?
It's not. Nutrition's the third one, actually.
Okay.
If we didn't do it, we would die straight away.
Okay. So could it be something like breathing, for example? Okay. Jackpot, bingo!
Actually, it's the most important thing.
Yeah, okay,
Your
Joe's caught up. Yeah, Joe's caught up. She's got it. Breathing. Yeah. Yeah. Brilliant. Okay. Yeah. So that's our most important thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Your breath controls all your physiological processes.
Yeah.
It controls your mind. Absolutely everything.
Okay.
So how we breathe and our intake of oxygen is crucial to our ability to be able to perform. Yeah.
Okay. So actually, a lot of people are catching up with this. So Dr. Ian Price, morning Ian, breathing, morning Tosh, one of my friends, breathing. Yeah, we're all getting there. I don't know what Paul's got here. Ketones. What's that?
Oh, that has to do with nutrition.
That's nutrition. Okay, we're going to come on to that. So technically air then, says Ian.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So we're looking at the fuels. So breathing, water,
hydration. Water. Okay, so hydration,
essentials. We are 70% water.
Yeah.
So, again, we could only survive a few days without water.
Without water, yeah.
Yeah. It affects our thinking process. So 5% dehydration will give us a 35% decrease in performance.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
so
important.
When you have that dip in the day, instead of going for a coffee, which will dehydrate you even more, and it will excite your adrenal glands, so it will pump up your heart rate and make you even more sort of anxious, jumpy.
Yeah. And actually older people struggle with remote, so if my dad, for example, he ended up in hospital because he wasn't drinking enough, and one thing led to another, and it could have just been a simple cold that meant he just wasn't performing well, forgot to drink, and then drinking led to hallucinating ended up in hospital, and so the cycle went round and round and round, right? So this is why water's so important. And that's just for older, he was 85 at the time, but it's actually important for all of us, right? Obviously, hydration.
Yeah, so hydration is one of the most vital things that just gets, ignored most of the time, actually.
Gets ignored most of the time, right? So what are you suggesting that we need to drink then to keep our levels of fuel in the right way, in the right place?
We need to drink 2+ liters of water a day, but preferably filtered water that's just has no impurities in
Okay,
it.
filtered water. Okay,
And alkaline water would be good.
alkaline water. And you can buy filters that do that, can you?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
By filters that do
Okay,
that. So then nutrition is the next one.
the nutrition,
Obviously.
which is where
So
Paul came in.
that's it. The quality of your nutrition is going to equal the quality of your energy levels and your ability to perform. So what happens when we're under pressure is that we often slip into coping mechanisms which are unhealthful.
Okay.
So this is one really important area to look at when we're looking at tipping points, because our automatic responses to life and our coping mechanisms usually kick in at this point, and they're normally unhealthful.
Okay. So can you give us a few examples of that so we can catch up with you?
Yeah. So for example, under pressure we might be increasing our caffeine. Then that might disrupt our sleep levels.
Okay.
So then we take something to make us go to sleep, which will be another chemical.
Okay, so a sleeping tablet or okay, and alcohol might be another one, presumably.
There we go.
Or smoking, perhaps.
Smoking, alcohol, these ones exactly.
Okay, right. So these are our coping mechanisms, and they lead to
Sugar.
tipping points. Did you say?
Sugar.
Right. Okay, sugar rushes, another one.
High level of sugar, so which creates inflammation in the body.
Yeah.
Which then, lends us to more disease and fatigue as well, and other inflammatory conditions.
Okay.
Diabetes in the long run.
In the longer run, too much sugar. Yeah, interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's on the physical level. So then on the mental level, you look at what are you digesting? What media are you exposing yourself to? What is the quality of the mental input? Is it positive and uplifting, or is it taxing and stress inducing?
Yeah. Okay. And some examples of that could be?
So media is one, because it plays such a big role in our lives, whether it be the social media or the papers or news, which is normally very negative, and it dictates quite a lot of our sort of thinking power. And it will take up a lot of our thought process. So you've got to look at, what do I spend my time thinking about, and how is it making me feel?
Okay. So if we're focused too much on what's going on, abroad, for example, would that cause that sort of a problem? Is that what you're saying, or?
Yeah, so generally it sort of adds on to the load.
Okay. And yet we want to be informed, right?
Yes, we do, exactly. I mean, the negative stuff can also be, perhaps negative things that are happening at work.
Okay, right. Yeah, of course.
It can be in many areas.
Yeah.
But it's sort of where we dwell and what we allow in.
Okay. So if we're having to take work home and we're overthinking and things like that, okay, I'm with you. There's something going on about fasting is better than fed, says Paul Winfield. And then he also talks about our mitochondria.
Mitochondria.
Yeah.
So this is one of the very important areas that needs to be taken care of if someone is in a burnout. Because if you're in a burnout, you're basically a very small step away from chronic fatigue, ME.
Okay.
You tip over into that place.
Yeah.
So if you don't take care at this point where you're starting to crash, you get basically mitochondrial dysfunction.
Okay, and he also links it to reducing the overpowering effect of insulin as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
And fasting is amazing. He's right.
Yeah. And any recommendations on fasting?
There are different forms of fasting. You can do juice fasting, which is done with vegetable juicing
Okay.
and water. So it's a liquid fasting.
Mm.
You can do a water fasting, dry fasting, which is where you take nothing at all for a few days.
Yeah. What?
That's
Tw-
very powerful, and it can reverse cancers.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Like 24-hour, 48-hour fasting.
Yeah, they just 3 to 5 days if it's chronic.
Okay, 3 to 5 days if it's chronic. Okay.
Yeah, that's if you're in like having a big cancer or something.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's interesting.
But,
I didn't know that. Yeah, that's really
dry
interesting.
fasting, I wouldn't do it personally.
What's dry fasting?
That's when you take nothing.
That's when you take absolutely nothing, including
And
no
you need
water.
to work with a professional. Yeah.
Okay. And one thing I wanted to do when we started to talk about, you mentioned air as the primary fuel, the first one. We didn't really talk much more about that. Give us a few examples of the air side of things.
Right.
Breathing.
So our breath really determines many different physiological processes in the body. It alkalizes our blood. Of course, it helps the balance of all the gases in our system, which we need obviously good oxygen levels, but we do also need a balance of carbon dioxide and also something else called nitric oxide.
Okay.
Yeah. Breathing also helps with our immunity. So if you practice breath work, for example, it will trigger T cell production and basically enhance your whole immune function.
Okay.
It will help your brain power tenfold.
Wow.
Because
tenfold.
Your oxygen levels improve to your brain. There's just numerous I could go into.
Yeah.
More depth,
so a practical thing here could be things like meditation, for example. Yeah.
So breathwork, I would say.
Breath work. Okay. Yeah.
Meditation is a way of charging yourself, like recharging.
Okay.
And it's also very important. So I'm going to come on to the recharging exercises.
Nice. Well, yeah, go there. That sounds like the right time to go there then. So, Paul just says this. I do regular 3-day fast. Wow. Yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah, I sometimes do 48-hour fasts. And I find that really useful. 3-day fast. Cool.
It will reset your immune system. It stimulates stem cell production. It will just like resets your whole physiology.
Yeah.
And extends your life. I mean, which is why yogis and kind of ancient peoples practice fasting regularly.
Yeah. So talk us through your model then and your approach so that we get an idea of what to do.
Yeah. So I'm going to come to the energy management. There's a slide there. If we can just pop that up quickly, and then I'm going to define that.
Okay. There you go.
So we've established we live in sometimes a very stressful work environments. So in order to counterbalance that, we need to help manage our energy.
Okay.
So we looked at the input and the output. Yeah, so what we put in will help equate to what we can get out.
Okay.
And energy management is really about understanding and being able to optimize, conserve, and be efficient with your energy. So there's two parts of it. So there's your vitality, which is your personal energy, your joie de vivre, your passion for life, which we take through life, and slowly over time that kind of diminishes. But then there's also energy which just exists everywhere.
Okay.
And this is called the universal energy field,
Mm-hmm.
and it permeates the entire nature.
Okay,
The
everywhere.
planet.
Yeah.
It's just everywhere.
Mm.
So we can borrow and tap into that
Cool.
at any time.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we use it in renewable energy resources already, right?
Right.
So we use the sun,
Mm-hmm.
we use the wind,
Yeah.
we use the water for electricity. And as we are electrical and magnetic beings, by harnessing these different energy systems, we can recharge our own.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
And there's just different ways to do that. And I have a little exercise now that we can run through.
Okay, so you've given us the overview of how it works. So let me just recap then. So there's our personal vitality, which is, if I remember rightly, is our physical, our mental, and our emotional side of things. That okay, and then you've also just introduced this universal energy construct, this universal energy field, and that's everywhere, right? And we can borrow from that, I think you said. And you've now got an exercise that will help us to hook into those two things, is that right? And to optimize that?
Yeah. So on the management side of things, we can do things practically, like we can look at our habits and how we can manage our time and how we can manage the time that we're doing activity and the time we can do rest. So these are very practical things. But there are times where we might need to do some borrowing and to enhance our own energy.
Okay.
Through these kind of hacks.
Oh, interesting. Tell us more. Some hacks, like a good hack.
So, I don't know if I should just do the exercises now.
Yeah, go for it. Yeah, we're kind of getting to that point where that would be useful, actually. Yeah, we've got a few minutes to do that with. So yeah, go through it for us. Yeah, perfect.
Right. So the first one I'm going to do is a breathwork exercise, and it's just going to take a couple of minutes.
Okay.
And so we're going to start off with a 4-beat breath work.
Okay.
And it's called a box breath. And you're going to breathe in through your nose, the count of 4. You're going to hold for the count of 4. You're going to breathe out through the mouth for the count of 4.
Okay.
And then you hold for the count of 4. And you're just going to keep repeating that we'll do that for about 30 seconds.
Okay. So are we going to do this now with you? Is that what the idea is?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm going to demo and we just do it with me.
Yeah, so if you count us through then so that the folks watching and then listening later can join into this. Okay, you got a timer? Cool.
I'm going to put a timer on.
Okay.
We'll just do 20 seconds
Fine.
actually.
So we do 20 seconds, great.
Yeah.
Okay, talk us through it.
In through the nose and out through the mouth.
And we're counting to 4, right?
And we're doing 4, 4, 4, 4.
Okay,
Like
lovely. Okay. Talk us through. Lead us on.
So breathing in through the nose, and you're going to fill your lungs. And when you reach the top, you're going to hold for the count of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And out through the mouth for 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And hold. 2, 3, 4. In through the nose. Hold. 2, 3, 4. Out. 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4. In.
Lovely.
2, 3, 4. Out.
Hold.
2,
Do we have to hold?
hold, 2, 3, 4, out, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4.
Beautiful.
Okay, now we go back to your normal breathing. And this is just to regulate and create a rhythm and helps to calm the nervous system down first. So now we're going to move on to a charging exercise. So this is going to increase your energy and increase the oxygen levels in your blood.
Okay.
So this breath work is the simple breathing in for 4,
Yeah.
out for 2.
Okay.
So it's going to go like this.
Ah, okay.
So it's a shorter out breath
Yeah.
and a longer in breath.
Okay.
You're going to do that for the count of 30 as well. So it's a kind of pumping action. You're going to try and keep a rhythm as well.
Okay. So lead us on.
Off we go.
Off we go.
breathe in.
Breathing in.
1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2.
Yep.
1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2.
Right. Lovely. Yeah, we get that idea. Oh, that's really great. Okay.
So speed it up a bit.
Yep.
I'm going to go for another 10 seconds.
Okay. So we're speeding up now.
Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. And relax.
Brilliant. Okay. Wow. That does feel a whole lot better. I don't know what you guys at home are feeling, but wow, that feels really good to me. Thank you, Shoana.
There's one last little one.
Okay, so that was to increase the energy. So the first one was to sort of regulate our nervous system, calm us down, get into a rhythm. Secondly was to increase, and then finally, where are we going next then?
Right, so this one is called circular breathing.
Okay.
Where you breathe in through the nose, out through the mouth with no gap. So normally when we breathe, we go,
Yeah.
and there's a space. But this time we're going to breathe in and out with no gap.
Okay, a bit like when we're running, right?
Running, we often mouth breathe though. So again, it's in through the nose, out through the mouth, with no space.
Okay.
And I want you to do 20 cycles.
Okay. So talk us through that then. So lead us on, Shoana.
Okay.
Yeah, go for it.
It's a full breath in, so you're going to really reach to the top of your capacity.
Top of capacity.
And breathe out to the bottom of your capacity.
Okay, all the way in, all the way out, folks.
All the way out.
Okay.
Perfect.
Groovy.
Okay.
Go for it.
And then we're going to get to a point when I'm going to ask you to hold.
Okay.
And you're going to hold on your out breath. Okay. So I'll help you when we get there.
Okay.
So
Cool.
Let's start. Ready? And
so that's in, out, in, out. Okay, thank you.
in, out. All the way out. All the way in. All the way out. All the way in. All the way out. All the way in. All the way out. Let's do 10 more. All the way in. all the way out. 5 more. Breathing all the way up.
All the way out. Okay.
All the way up. All the way out.
Wow.
All the way up. All the way out. 2 more. All the way up. All the way out. Last one. All the way up. All the way out. And when you reach the bottom, you're just going to hold. Hold your breath. Allow the tongue to rest on the roof of your mouth. And just close your eyes.
Wow. Yeah.
Just notice what's happening in your body. You might feel some tingling.
Yeah.
Just relax. Just relax.
Nice.
10 more seconds. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Breathe in all the way up and hold. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And relax.
Lovely. Wow. Ooh, that was, I really felt that. That was really, really interesting. And I think Joe says the same. This was halfway through the process. This is what Joe said. I really felt that. And then later she commented at the end of just before we finished there, felt quite lightheaded, actually. Yeah. How about you, Verdine? How did you find that exercise?
I got the tingly sensation.
I wonder what you guys at home got. Oh, that's the first time we've done that on air, eh? Well done, Shoana. Yeah, wow, that was wonderful. Thank you. Yeah. So wrap it up for us. We've got 2 or 3 minutes. So very quick wrap up, Shoana, so that we can. Yeah.
So just to go back to harnessing the energy of nature, I would just like to encourage everyone to spend some time in nature every day.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, in England, we really lack sunlight, which is one place where we can recharge. And sunlight will recharge you. So today, it's gorgeous.
Yeah.
And I recommend you get out
there
and get into the sun, because you will just feel uplifted and recharged just by doing that. Going out for a walk in nature, in the woods, in the fields. In the summertime, it's nice to lie down on the grass.
Yeah.
All of these things just literally, naturally help replenish and recharge your energy just by harnessing what's already out there.
Thanks, Shoana. That's brilliant. Yeah, thank you. And just to come on to your CTA, Shoana, so just for you guys, look, Shoana's giving away a free one-to-one burnout strategy coaching call with you. So please feel free to, if you see this in the comments, or you want to just contact Shoana later when you've had a think about it, there it is for you. You can see her emailer there, and Birdie's just put the email address and the LinkedIn profile in the comments, so you can pick those up. So that's a free one-to-one burnout strategy coaching call with Shoana. Thank you very much, Shoana. Wow, well, we've learnt so much today, haven't we? And thank you for that. That's wonderful. We hope that you found this session useful, and it's giving you ideas to manage your own energy and some ideas of avoiding future burnout. And we could talk for ages over this. We probably need a good half an hour to kind of kick this about even further, probably a lot longer. So please feel free to take advantage of Shoana's offer. And as we've just said, the contact details are in LinkedIn and etc. there. So thanks, Shoana, for encouraging us to think about all things burnout and preventing burnout and avoiding that through just, breath work is phenomenally powerful. And I hope you found that really powerful for yourself. So what's happening next week, folks? I'll tell you about that in a very quick while. So the why to Leaderslive, folks. So what's the why to Leaderslive? Well, we're kind of building a community of like-minded folks here with you guys. So, and it's particularly relevant to building back better businesses for us as entrepreneurs, as business owners, as SME CEOs, particularly after the last couple of years with the pandemic, right? And our motto is I to the power of we. And that's what we're doing here. We're building community, I to the power of we. So Leaderslive is a freely available, edutaining expression of this, folks. And anyone can join in, and take part in these extraordinary conversations. And we've just had a very extraordinary conversation with Shoana Taylor this morning. So thank you again, Shoana. Absolutely brilliant. So thank you. Oh, you're very welcome. Thank you, Shoana. Brilliant. So bless you. Quick steps for contacting me. So these are my commercial offerings. So I speak and host events. I facilitate top teams about strategy and processes. And I develop high-performing teams, and with my company PDX Consulting, I'm also a fully qualified executive coach. And you can join Inspired CEOs too if you're an SME CEO of a small business. So and please join in those conversations too, and find out more from me later on. So that's a little bit about me. The goose for next week, folks, the goose for next week. So on Tuesday, the 15th of March at 8:45 UK time, I'll be hanging out with the CEO of Marketing CX, Tilly Davis, LinkedIn business to business expert. And she's going to be talking all about the key to be seen and understood on LinkedIn. So that's coming up. And Tilly says, look, it's demoralizing spending hours on LinkedIn creating content, isn't it? And reaching out and being ignored. So the problem is not you or your products and services. The problem is how you communicate your message on LinkedIn. So that's what Tilly Davis is going to be talking about. We're going to be discussing your LinkedIn messaging strategy, detailing the social selling roadmap, and how to engage with people that you want to buy from. So be there or be square, folks. So this is a wrap up from us. Again, brilliant to have you on the show again, Shoana. So thank you again for all of your input. And you can catch us on podcasts a little bit later for this session, and the links will be in the description as well. And we'll communicate with you later on about the podcasts. And in the meantime, that's a wrap, folks. So from Shoana, from Birding, and I, and me, we all wish you a great week ahead, and you can bop along to our outro music. That's all for now, folks. See you again next week. Be there or be square, and ta-ra a bit. Cheers for now. Bye, everybody. Thanks again.